All right, it's Jabria, the Bright Queen, and then you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Carolina. I'm
Nice.
I have a YouTube channel called
Mm-hmm.
Shamayim Soul Messages.
Shamayim, that's how you pronounce it, right?
Shamayim, yes.
Shamayim. Mayim. Is that right?
Shamayim.
Shamayim.
Yeah, it's Hebrew, right?
Thank you. Yes, I looked it up actually. I even looked up how to pronounce it. It means like heavens or skies.
Yeah, it's the first heaven of the seven Hebrew heavens.
Beautiful. Thank you for
Yeah.
explaining to me and thank you for being here. So, as we were just talking about, you said that you had like you said was it different timelines that you were tapping into?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically we had this meeting, right? And I don't know why I got your message that I feel if I don't remember the messages exactly, but you told me like I felt that our vibration was not like working or something, so you didn't felt like doing this meeting, right?
Hmm.
And I said, okay, no problem. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, but suddenly that message disappeared also
Hmm.
from our chat, right?
Yeah, it's so interesting because last night I was meditating so I could get ready for this, so I could like be all in like and get any messages, but be in the energy. And it was just like this staticky type of feeling, like of I don't know. I just my thoughts kept wandering. Usually I'm able to like focus them onto what I want, but they kept like going out. And so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go to sleep. And so I went to lay down to go to sleep and the energy just like intensified. It was like this very like restless kind of energy. I was like moving back and forth and I felt like this thundering kind of feeling like and then once it got to the peak, one of my nieces who was asleep like screamed. She's like, ah, like she just woke up out of her sleep and screamed. And I'm pretty sure last night, like both of them, because I have twin nieces, they were like crying like back and forth all night. And this hasn't happened in a long time since they were like
Okay.
first born. They've been able to sleep through the night since then, but last night was an exception, and I knew it was because of this meeting. The energy was very very intense and it felt like very anxious, and I knew there was like someone that was like upset and like angry, because I know like what you've been saying in your videos. That's why I wanted to speak with you, because your videos have been exactly the messages that I've been getting, and I can feel the truth that you speak as you say these messages. But um, it's like we've broken like cycles and like entered a completely like new space and new phase where beautiful, beautiful things are happening now. The energy like it pops open and it feels amazing and like heaven. And so I knew that it was simultaneously like this kind of interference or like some being upset that I figured it out. I figured out how to like surpass my fears and go beyond my limitations. And it was also just a huge indication of like, okay, so if this angry, upset feeling is here, that must mean that I'm doing something right. I'm doing something new. So it's very interesting that you say, I believe you. I believe you that there was probably some sort of message of interference like that. I've had that happen to me where I've read a message like you're saying that someone sent me, and then like I'll look back and it'll be they didn't send that. It'll be like something else that they sent.
Yes, there is magic happen here on both sides, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
intensifying, no doubt,
Hmm.
no doubt, but nothing to fear at the same time. Like,
Yeah, no. Yeah, I agree. I think
yeah,
that's been like the best part about like this whole journey is like being kind of exposed to things to like where the point I'm at now, like it's hard to like scare me. Like it's hard to like get me into like fear, especially with like beings that you can't see necessarily. I saw actually the other day a shadow being like walk from my back door like to my front door behind me when I was sitting on the couch. And I've seen them before, but only when I was like in like a meditative state. And this one I was awake. I was awake. I was sitting on the couch watching my niece, and I saw one, and I was like, "Oh, that's never happened before." I was like, "That's interesting," and like I wasn't like afraid or anything. And just like I said with the energy last night, like I wasn't afraid. I was like, "Oh, like who is this? Who are you? That's here," and upset.
Yeah, I feel like this year we are shedding, right? I really like the snake year, right?
Ooh,
And
yes.
yes, and so I feel like because I believe that everything is within us, right? I feel like this year is very much we are observing everything, right? And we are shedding a lot, right? So we can be rising and rising, but at the same time, we need to shed some things, right? Whether it's from us or from other people or just energies, right? And and so yes, I feel like yeah, there's magic around, no doubt, right? And we need to be aware that in order to like be light and to shed all of that, there are other things that need to come out and be seen and be felt and you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. Um, yeah, the night before last night, I meditated for the first time in a while, like in my bed, because I usually prefer to meditate like while I'm like moving, like through dance or something like that, or through music. I get a lot of like clarity through driving as well. But that was the first time I like laid down and like sat for like probably like 2 hours, just meditating. Um, and I was like telling myself like to release any like fears and limits that were like blocking me from like accessing what I want to access, what I know I can access, and who I am. And I heard this voice, and it was like, "Wake up now." It was very like insistent. And so I got up and like I went to sleep after that. And I dreamt for the first time in forever. Obviously, we dream all the time, and a lot of stuff goes on when we sleep. But I haven't been remembering my dreams. But that night, I remembered my dream, and it was me in a different house, but like it was my room. And it was these roaches, these bugs that were like in my room, and they'd like appeared out of nowhere, and they were like running around. It was like three of them, and I called like my I hate roaches. I called my cousin to my room to like spray them and get them out. And I like looked into the meaning of this dream and how I feel what the meaning of the dream is. It's like when I was asking like the fears and the limits to come out, it was those roaches like being exposed because my room is like that's like my consciousness um and my like energetic space. And so that was like so aligned, like everything you're saying, like with the shedding, um, and the light. Everything that you've been saying is amazing, and I love
Oh,
your outfit.
thank you. Thank you.
Hmm.
Um, I don't mean to be annoying about this roaches thing because I also hate roaches and like I don't kill animals, but I have to kill roaches, especially for my pantry. But
Same.
I've come to the conclusion that roaches are also a good sign in a sense that they are like indestructible, right?
Hmm.
Because they can like they even can put up with nuclear bombs and destructions like this, right? The roaches usually survive to this type of
Catastrophe or
yes,
terror. Yeah.
catastrophe, yes, accidents. Uh, so like even in the roaches, we can find something like that it's beautiful and useful and like so maybe this could have your dream could have two meanings, right? The,
Hmm.
the bad energies that are like here, right? But
Yeah.
also your indestructible capability of dealing with everything in life, right? And I find it super nice that even in the most gross and ugly little things we can find like a light in them, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, but I don't mean to be annoying because I hate roaches too.
No, I absolutely agree with you. Because in the dream, after I got my cousin to come up there and kill him, I lay down in the bed to relax, and I picked up my drink, and it was in there. Like one of the bugs was in my drink, so it was like even though I tried to like get rid of it, it was like still there. And I feel like that speaks to what you're talking about. Like it's about like integrating and like accepting like the parts of yourself. Because like you said, it's indestructible, as well as like it's like talking about like who you are. Like you'd survive an apocalypse because you're everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for sharing that. I did want to share something because I was watching one of your videos that you released today, and it was called "Let's Go Stars," and that's so cool because on the imagery for this video call for this golden conversation, I felt so called to have a bird on the imagery. Like my intuition was like, you gotta have the bird, like you gotta have the bird, and it has to look a certain way. And I tried to create it with like AI, and it was down at the time. I don't know why. I typically don't use AI, but I wanted it to look a very specific kind of way, and they didn't have the option on the design website. So I went to Google and I found one, and it was like how I wanted it, like the chest kind of exposed towards the front. And I was like, it reminds me of the Hunger Games, the Fire book. And so I went and got it for today because I have it here at my home. And I open it up and I see my signature in there from when I got it when I was a kid, and I made my signature like a star. And I was like, whoa. I was like, that's so cool. I saw it like just now when I was on the Zoom call, waiting for you, even though you thought that it was canceled. And I was like, let me just like read this little book. Like, let me see what's in here. Uh, and it's my initials in a star. And I forgot that there was a phase in my life where I was like doing that. I was always, I feel like channeling like my whole life. And that's kind of what I was telling you about, like my spiritual awakening. Like it's always been like a thing. I just wasn't aware of it or like what I was doing. Uh, but yes, I loved your message about the stars. And if there's anything you want to say about that.
Yeah, I just posted also a video after the one of the stars about the birds, right?
Oh, I haven't seen
Um,
this. Oh,
yeah,
look.
like this couldn't be more appropriate. I
Hmm.
also wanted to ask you just why did you write it until then? What is it above your signature or underneath your signature there?
Oh, that's a good question. I was looking at that too. It says only until, and I had this line where I guess I was supposed to write a date, but I didn't. I,
Okay.
I don't know. I got this book when I was in middle school, when I was like 12. So I don't know what I was thinking, but something.
Okay. So I posted today a video about the birds, right? Like this has been a signal for me for like the past months about white birds, right? I
Mm,
always love the singing of the birds. I feel like every time my heart opens, I hear birds singing.
hmm.
And like because it's like when we connect to nature, right? And we can like put our awareness into nature, right? It's like nature appears from from us and to us, right? And and yesterday I was in the supermarket and I had this experience of like first manifest money, that's another video, but also the birds. There's a river here and there's a beach. And there's a tree that hosts many, many, many white birds. But
Mm.
you wouldn't know it, right? You just go and you see the green branches, but underneath there's so many white birds, so many, so many. And it's very, very nice. And yesterday I was in the balcony in the supermarket and I looked there and they were all flying, but like so many, but so many. And it's giving me goosebumps because it's like miracle, you know?
Mm.
I don't want to cry in a video, but so yeah, I connected this with angels, right? With us getting wings,
Mm-hmm.
with many, many people flying, right?
Mm.
Um, and yes, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
So
I've been seeing swans, like imagery of swans a lot. So they're also white birds. Um And while you were talking, I was like thinking of stuff, but I was like trying to listen mostly. So sorry if I forgotten a bit of the stuff I was talking about, I was thinking about. But one of the things was today for this video, I was guided to wear white. They were like, you need to wear white. And I feel like this is one of the reasons why. Thank you so much for sharing that. I was standing here, my bed is in front of me, and I think I was like folding my blankets so I could make my bed, and I like stood up and I felt like there were like wings behind my back. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's so cool." Um so it's so cool that you like said all these things, and I love how you said like underneath, like you'd have to go underneath the tree to see them, but then like they all came out and like they showed themselves, and I feel like that's it. And I can feel the energy too. I feel like that's exactly what this time like is about. It's like it's safe enough to come out because the heart is open now. And so there's a lot of like angels, a lot of people like waking up, returning to love, having heart openings, so we can all be together. And I think it's so cool because like even with this conversation here, like there's been in the past, I've tried like super hard to like do meetings with people like this. Not really I guess this type of conversation, but it was still gonna be like more, I guess, spiritual and like based on experiences. And every time it would like cancel, 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 cancel. Like it just never worked out. And so today, while I was sitting here waiting for you, even though, like I said, you didn't know the meeting was still on, I was like, man, like, is this gonna be another time where like it's unaligned? And I was like, you know what, I'm okay if it is. I'm okay if it doesn't happen. And I feel like that's also like the reason why it can.
for sure. In my life, I'm really good in seeing that I'm feeling very free, right? I feel we can now be very free about our expectations, right? About our ego. This is very hard when it comes to romantic connections, right? Right? Or children, or even
Mm,
children, right? Because I feel like we want a result or we want to do something, but I'm really getting comfortable understanding that God is teaching everyone, right? God is putting every vibration, every frequency together that it needs to be, right? And if it doesn't, if it's there's no need for it, it will not, you know? We are being guided. right? Exactly to what we are meant to do all together. And we don't know this is, you know, we don't know where this is going or what is going to be created. So we must let go of our control, you know, and just be. We can do beautiful things like flying, right? All together. But we can also do the little tiny small things, and everything will be, right?
Hmm.
I'm feeling very free around that, even with my child. Like I want to teach her, right? I want to guide her. But at the same time, she's learning things. She has her own life. You know, like for example, I don't know if I can if I can start talking about this, you don't mind, no?
If you want to, yeah.
Okay. So like I didn't want her to watch so many cartoons, or I wanted to see which cartoon she was gonna, you know, she was gonna be interested about, or I wanted to protect her from some type of content or something like this, you know. And in the beginning, I didn't want her to watch her anything, right? But now I'm seeing that God is teaching her what she what she's meant to learn in her path, right? And so I'm like, I don't know if this is the divine feminine within me, but I'm letting go of the control because I'm not her, she's not me, and she's meant to learn other things that I cannot, like, you know. And it's yeah, it's becoming like this, no control, because we are not unaware of what other souls are meant to learn or not, you know.
Yes. I absolutely agree. It's the same with like everything. Like I love what you said. Thank you so much for sharing it. But yeah, like with my nieces and stuff, I was so scared when they were born. They're like my first like babies like that have been born into my life in a while. Um, and I was like, they don't need to be exposed to this, and they need to eat this only, and not watch this and that. And I was like, well, I did all that stuff when I was younger, and I'm so grateful for my mother and everybody else who contributed to parenting me when I was younger, because I got to eat candy and I got to eat chips and fried foods and junk food and watch TV to my little heart's content. And I'm like, look at me now. Like I still am super duper connected with myself and my true self and spirit and like the love, like you're saying, that's flowing through all. Like it didn't stop anything. But it reminds me of what you're saying. The other day I was telling you like this is how I kind of like became exposed to your channel and to your work. I was in my room and I was like guided to go on YouTube and I saw this video of this other person and it was a quick video. It was like 4 minutes. And I was like, oh, okay. Like I was happy about it, but it wasn't like a big deal. And underneath it, when I scrolled down, there was this YouTube short of Adele. And it was like Adele talking about like her husband, and I watched the video and it's just these little clips of her just saying like how she loves herself now and it's the first time she's been in love with someone and like been open to receiving love. And I just started crying. I was like, it was just tears. And I knew it was connected to the other video I watched, even though like it wasn't. And I was so shocked that I was crying, but it felt like a joy of like a child, but that's not even like a good enough word because I feel like even when I was a kid, I wasn't that happy. Like it was so much happiness and joy and peace and love, like to the point of like it brought tears to my eyes because I could feel that I hadn't felt it in a long time. And that feeling, whenever I get like that, I'm super duper like high. I'm almost like floating. And so I remember like trying to like figure out what I need to do to like relax about it. but I feel like the message was like, don't relax about it. Like keep being in it, keep being in that feeling. And that's when I found your message, your channel for the first time later that day. And it was like exactly what I was feeling. It was called You Both Know You Found the One. And I was like, oh my gosh, like it was just perfect. It was perfect. And I'm so grateful for that because I feel like I said, the tears were kind of like out of my control. And like that's been a message that I've been getting a lot recently, like you were saying about like the divine feminine has been very much like loud within me and telling me I need to step back and allow like listen to her, like listen to my divine feminine for once. And now that's like what I was saying before of like the reason it can happen now is because there's this release of control. And so that's why it's allowed to happen. Whereas in the past, like there was almost like this toxic like relationship with control. And so like that was what was blocking these I guess energies from flowing freely.
Yeah, I have been talking a lot about that in my in my videos about the the toxic masculine, right? And I feel like this is an energy that is like coming to an end and it's not yet. And I don't know where I'm going here, but also with racism, right? This is something that we already shed, right? But it still comes, right? From
Hmm.
time to time, it's still like, and I feel like with the masculine, it's the same. It's like it's no longer here, right? This is the world of the feminine rising, right? But it's there are still energies that sometimes take centuries or like millennia to completely erase. But I feel like the masculine and the feminine, they are healing that's masculine that wanted to control, that wanted uh, to stop the happiness from our face, you know, that needed to be in meditation for hours and hours and hours, or do those types of exercises in order to feel life. Life is already happening, you know, and in each way it comes, right? Whether we cry or we laugh or whatever it happens, right? It's the truth and it's holy, right? And for a long time I was like in that, I don't know where I'm going here again, but in that spirituality, you know, where we needed to do things for us in a certain way, you know, or else we wouldn't be spiritual, or else we wouldn't be, you know. And I feel like there's a new type of wave that it's now like opening everything up, you know, because if we need, we have the tools, right? If we need to come in contact with us, right? If we are getting lost in the outside, we also know how to come in, right? But I feel like both worlds are now aligned, you know? And this is a kind of dangerous ground for many people, right? Because people want to have control, right? They want to smile instead of being sad. They want to, you know, yeah.
I know
So
exactly what you mean. I love everything you
yeah,
said, especially about like how it like used to take longer and now I feel like it happens like in an instant, in a snap of the finger, blink of an eye, it can happen. I was trying to like make sure it's so interesting because like I wrote notes and you're like touching on like all the things I wrote about. I'm not even having to like force them into like the conversation. And I feel like that's exactly what we're talking about. Like it's not forced It's like it's flowing, and love is so powerful. I feel like we've all kind of like collectively forgotten like that love is like the ultimate like power, because it can like change things in an instant, and it's so strong. It just blows wide open any closed doors, any dams. And I love what you were saying about like just everything. But I know, for example, like with myself, I was always so protective of like my energy, but it wasn't really protection. It was fear, and it was like isolating myself. And so I never used to like allow people to be close to me, and like wouldn't really share like my my precious little inner truths with people. I always was like distance with people. And now I'm like, I'm completely different. I always tell like my friends that I love them. I tell my nieces that I love them, my mother, my stepdad, my sister, my cousins, everybody I can. Whenever I'm in contact with them, I tell them I love them. And it's like this shift from like the toxic masculinity where it's like love used to represent like, or it, in our minds, love used to represent kind of this thing to be like ashamed of, this thing that was weak. And like I said, it's the opposite. Love is like it's the strongest thing. It's the strongest thing in the world. And I love how you were talking about racism, and unless I heard you incorrectly, you said racism, right?
Yeah, it was just an example, right, of the same, of the like of an energy that tries
Divide.
to yeah, divide, or to divide. And in fact, we know, like, we know we are one, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this takes many centuries, right? It took many
Mm.
centuries, right, for us to like be aware. Also with countries, like eventually there's not going to be any countries, because like
Because
what's the
there are
purpose?
none. Even now,
Yeah,
it's just an
yeah,
illusion.
exactly. Right? But we still need to have compassion for
Mm.
like the time that it takes for things to be shared, right?
Mm.
I feel like that's it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. So the other day I was getting this message about like the red people or the red seed. I had one of my ancestors came through when I got a Reiki healing done. And he was talking about the red seed, and he like was pointing at one of his children, which is one of my great aunts. And so I shared that on my YouTube community page, like that was something that was coming to me, because I kept yesterday and today I keep being like guided to be in the sun, like go outside and like just be in the sun. And I took a picture, and like of course my hair is red, but like my forehead kind of looked red in the image. Oh, and then this
Yes.
book is red. And someone commented about like the red star. But I know like in I guess like urban terms, indigenous people can be referred to like as red people, like the red skins and stuff.
Yeah.
And yesterday this video popped up on my YouTube talking about how a lot of people who consider themselves to be African Americans are actually indigenous. And so I feel like a big part of the reason why these things have been like allowed to thrive and kind of fester, these like divisive tactics, are because of misinformation. People are being lied to. It's like we don't even know the truth of where we actually come from. They're telling you you come from this place, but you actually come from the place where you already are. And so people are like looking outside and looking here and there, and like the truth of who they are is like it's where you already are. It's like this illusion, like we've been saying, it's not true. It's a bunch of
Yeah.
lies. And I know like that video I think had like 4,000 something views, and it's like it's spreading, like you're saying, like this the truth of like that we're all one, and that we already are these incredible beings that we've been looking for. Like we already are them.
Yeah. I had a friend, and I don't mind to believe in the idea of evolution, right? That
Mhm.
we came from the water, and then
Yeah.
um, whatever, animal and animal and animal, and then we become monkeys, right? And then we become people. I don't mind, right? But
Mm.
he hated this and he thought, and sorry for the use of the word, but that's how he felt. He felt like we were just lights and appear as humans on the earth,
Mm.
right? One day. And it could be both true, you know, we
Mm.
have no idea how it came about. So I feel like if we can just open our minds, right? And with AI, this is going to be because what's the truth, right?
Mm.
What's actually the truth? Like,
I'm hearing the
there's,
truth is known.
yes,
That's the
it's
difference.
known, but within us, right?
Hmm.
Because we feel when something reaches us and we cry, like in your Adele, right? In your Adele short, we feel it, right? So it could be where we come from or not. It could be anything, right?
Mm.
Like in a scientific way, there's no way of proving anything, right? Because reality is changeable, is movable. It's
Mm.
always been created by itself, right?
Mm.
I don't know if I'm going to quantum here, but it's whatever we feel, right? So there's
Yes,
no like there's
I
no
know
outside truth.
exactly what you mean. Because it's like there's all these facts, right, about like how, the calendar is wrong or whatever, and things like that. And I'm like, it probably is. I believe it probably absolutely is. But we all believe that it's October 2025. And so that therefore it is like that because we all have collectively agreed to create this reality. So I understand
Yeah,
what you're saying to that point. And it's also that's also like a divisive thing that's used to just push people apart because we're busy arguing over these little details and these this and that and this and that, and it's like let's just sit down and like have some tea, like let's just sit down and like hold hands. I remember this year in May I had a huge shift in myself, and I remember like this was one of the things that like shifted within me. One of my nieces is upset. Kind of made me forget my train of thought. Hold on. What was I saying about the divisiveness, the different things? Oh yeah. So yeah, in May, I had a huge shift. And I remember like hearing and feeling that like the most important question to ask myself at that time was, well, what do you want? Like what do you actually want? Like not what you are supposed to want, as this person in this life in this role, but what do you actually want? And I was like, I want connectedness. I want to feel connected with people and everything around me, and I feel like that's ultimately what we all want. That connectedness, that love to know and see that we're not alone. Um in any aspect. And I feel like in that same like instance, like that's when you become like one within yourself, like knowing that you're one with everything. I don't know if that's making sense. When you were saying about like the story of like the fish and then the fish gets out of the water and the whole thing, I was also thinking like, what if it's like a metaphor? Like, what if it's like, what if there is like a truth to it that's like not so literal? Or what if like the literal is like a truth of another kind? Uh, oh, hold on. My mama is calling me. Hold on. Let me message her. Okay, give me 1 second. I need to go check on my nieces. You can speak if you like to people who watch this in the
hi,
future.
I can wait.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No problem.
But I feel like
Yeah.
everything is like connected in like a message of some sort. What time is it? It's just 10. I think we're doing on a time because like I was struggling to remember. It's almost like I could pick up like that there was somebody trying to reach me or some sort of interference. Oh, feeling a lot. That was happening to me a lot like last night. It was really today because it was like early, like 2 a.m. when the whole house was up because the girls were up. And so I was like, what is it like I'm supposed to like why am I awake?
How old
Basically,
are they?
they are 11 months.
Oh,
Yes, very
they're baby,
young.
babies.
Yes, baby babies. But yeah, like I would see a video and then I'd hear like the song of the video before I pressed it. Like I knew like what would be said or what song would play before I pressed it. And so like with all of this and then like the topic of the golden children, I feel like we're all like I feel like everybody is like having
So,
gifts come online, like more clear, more clarity and intensity, and like and it's because of like the love and the truth that's coming out. It's like activating these different details, and now I think there's like a garbage truck coming by. I don't know if you can hear it or not.
yeah, my child loves uh garbage trucks and how they work and
Mm.
all of this. Yeah, I think she's gonna be like it's not a constructor. She really likes how things work, right? Like water pipes and machines and stuff like this. She really enjoys to know what's going on in the city and how people are like working upon it, which is really funny. And I feel like, yes, we all have telepathic gifts, right? And of course, like with little children, it's it's crazy, right? It's real because they are so open and so alive and so unbounded, right? But I feel like yes, with the love, we all gonna eventually be more and more in tune, right? And and I feel like we are doing this already naturally, right? But when it comes to like, I don't know, because I'm seeing what happened with her, right? She's 5, right? And yes, she thinks what I think, or she's like answering to what I'm thinking, right? I'm answering to what she's thinking. But in the other day, we started to play a game, right? Of like, I'm gonna send you a picture and you must say what I thought, right? And this doesn't work because I feel like, again, it's the control, it's the ego trying to like grab on, right? But naturally comes out so like in a beautiful way. And I feel like I know I have this gift. I know you have that gift, right? And I know we all have that gift, right? And it only comes from love. That's for sure. Like it only comes from love. And it's beautiful to like already foresee the future where where we are in that place, right? Where we are living with God in right? Yeah, but now we have to again, I think this is the conversation, have to have compassion for the time and the understanding of what gravity is and how it works, right? But are we going towards the stars? We are because we came from there, that place, right? We came from heaven and we gonna go back there eventually. And we just need, I really feel, and that's why this moment is like the best moment ever, and this year is the best year ever because
Hmm.
we just needed to remove, right?
Yeah, now the garbage truck is gone, just as you said that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, everything you're saying. I feel like to just even go further, right? Because we are like what we are, right? So like if you're saying like in the same state, like we come from like the stars, like we come from heaven, then wherever we are is heaven. And so I feel like that's what this is. Like it's like bringing heaven here. Because I feel like a lot of the times, like myself, like when I first kind of like had my experience with, some people call it New Earth. I don't really know where I was, but I know I did a meditation and I like left here for the first time, like consciously, and I cried because it was so, I didn't realize how heavy it was here until I left. Like it was so free. And I was like, oh my God, I don't have to like worry about all these things. And it was great. And it's like, oh, like I had so much frustration. I remember after that with being here, I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to be here anymore. It's so like tough and none of this stuff makes sense. Like I was so frustrated. And I'm like, that's the point of like this, or that's one of the points anyways. I feel and I know it's like to reclaim this space as heaven. And that kind of goes into this other message that I had written down about accountability. Like you're saying, even with the compassion, like we are, it's like if we are who we say we are, then who are we to judge? You know, you have to have compassion. And that's something I will say that I think definitely changed my life. Where like a lot of people in my life would disappoint me. It'd be any little thing they do and would disappoint me. They'd be later, they wouldn't text me back or they wouldn't like do this for me without me having to ask. And every little thing I'd be like, oh no, 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 no. Like everybody gotta go then because nobody's getting it right. And now I don't think of it like that. I'm like, okay, like for one, it's probably this person is reflecting something. There's something in me that's being reflected here. What I'm thinking and perceiving about this person's actions is a direct reflection of like my own belief systems and how I'm choosing to see things. And then for two, if you want to go like a step further than that, like just like you said, just having compassion for people, like it's okay. Like it's okay. It's okay that they're like this and that they yelled or that they said the wrong thing or they didn't do something you wanted them to do. It's okay. They're a person. I'm a person too. And like because I've been able to like have that compassion for others, I have it for myself. Like I'm allowed to have flaws now. Like I'm allowed to get stuff wrong and to be late and to be sloppy or to say something that I didn't mean. And I feel like in that space, like that's the only way you can like truly like embody love. But just to go into like the telepathy thing, because I'm seeing something now. One of the visions I had, or one of these experiences that I had, was like I was underwater, and I'm pretty sure it was here, but it was like when the water was alive and different, much different than it is now. Um, there were these, I want to say people, but they don't look human. There were these a lot of beings like under the water, and everybody was so like happy and like talking to each other, and it was all telepathic, and you could like see above their heads like what they were thinking. It was these different symbols and things like that, and in that space, like you can't lie because everything you are is like revealed at all times. And it's the same with everybody else. And it's like that movie Arrival. I don't know if you've seen it with Amy Adams. Okay, so it's basically like there's these aliens that have come to Earth and nobody knows like what they want. And So naturally, everybody's like, okay, we're gonna nuke them. We're gonna just nuke all the aliens that have come and just blow everything up so they don't attack us. And the main character, she had to like convince just one like country to put down their arms to keep themselves vulnerable and exposed in order to cause this chain reaction of like everybody's going to put down their arms and put down their guns and everything and just kind of just allow everybody to be vulnerable. And like that's how you get access to it. Like what we've been saying, that's how you access like what you've been wanting to access is by surrendering and releasing.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel we are the one, and we haven't reached that place too, but we are the one with the aliens too, right? The universe is one. And I don't really like this future. And I know I'm gonna be here, but not in this body, so it's kind of
Mm,
okay. But I'm seeing that future where you have like the AI and cameras and like we are all tuned in devices, right? And eventually you're gonna have technology that's gonna like read our minds, right?
mm.
Just like we already have.
It already does.
Yeah.
I would say it already
So it's
does.
like, so it's like no privacy, right?
Mm,
So we better now start to accept ourselves with unconditional love, right?
mm,
And have so much compassion for what we went through, for our flaws, for our freaking sins, for everything we went through, right? Because and for us and for other people, because we know that it brought us to who we are today, right?
mm,
And it's so tender because eventually or now there's no privacy anymore, right?
mm,
And so we really need to accept ourselves, right? Or else we end up to live to go back and like in protection in like no vulnerability and no trying to hide who we really are, right? So I feel like there's a need to be fully vulnerable and to accept the good and the bad, right? Already. So we are preparing for that moment where everybody is going to see our lives, right? I work very much with the sun, and the sun energy is very much of joy, it's very much of happiness, it's very much like uplifting, but at the same time it shows it all, right?
mm,
Like we have the moon and we think it's inside, right? It's kind of like our feelings and stuff, and it can hide things. But if you work with the sun, it exposes it all,
mm.
right? And I feel like that's where we are going. We are going to the place as humanity, right? That exposes everything, right? Where there's
Yes.
so much light. And so we really need to work to not so much in our gifts, right? But so much in here in the unconditional love and the compassion, so we can be fully open to what's to come, right?
Mm,
I don't know if I'm
yes.
making sense.
Yeah, you made perfect sense to me. I absolutely agree with what you said. And once again, you've mentioned something that was on my list. I think that's a very beautiful way of like thinking about AI because there's all this fear around it. And I'm like, there's no reason to fear because everything I remember I used to always like tell my mother because I always tell her all the little random things I be thinking. And I was like, if machines ever exist in the future, they exist now because they'd be going back. And so that's what I was saying. Like everything that people are fearing is stuff that's already happened and worse. It's already all happened. And so and you're here. and you can be okay. You can still be happy and sad and angry and all these different things. Now you can still embody all of that love. But one thing you were saying about like having everything revealed, you can't heal what you never reveal, and kind of like how AI is like teaching us, like, or preparing us to be like fully exposed so that we can all, like, be free. I had this thing happen for me, I guess, and I think 2022, I was laying in my bed and someone came, a being, and just pushed their thumb to my third eye. And I saw like rapid all these different things. It made me cry. It was such a huge experience. I think it lasted probably like 16 hours where like I felt like God, I would say. I just felt like I knew everything, and like there was so much joy. I was just crying like on and off like the whole time. But one of the things I saw about the eye and the way I was shown it was like it was literally like an eye like this. Was that one of the meanings of that was like the internet, and they were saying like people see it as like such like a bad thing, or this thing that's like poisoned everybody with the phones and the technology and things like that. But they were explaining that like we created that out of love. Like it was intended to spark all of this. And it's you can focus on like you said, like the stuff that everybody's afraid of like no, having no privacy. I feel like there never was. But you can also like see it as like this is about like revealing, like I want to be exactly who I am at all times. I want to always be open, because I feel like if I'm hiding something, then I'm ashamed of something within myself, and I don't want to be ashamed of something within myself. And like what we were saying about the children and the golden children, the message I got on my end, my nieces, they helped me like so much to like face these fears. When they were born, I was in like a very like kind of traumatic space, where a trauma that like happened to me when I was younger was very much present in my mind because I'd finally like voiced it. And so I was like in this space. And so when I would hold them, I'd be so terrified of all these things that happened to me, like it happened to them. And I was kind of forced by constantly having to hold them and watch them and put them to sleep to like face those. And like now I don't have that anymore. And so it's the same way with what you're saying about like AI, the internet, all these things that like we can see in this kind of like, oh no, it's the end of the world kind of way. It's like it has its purpose because we created it. And I feel that all of us ultimately on the inside, like we know, we all know, just like me like making this star into my signature when I was like 12. Like I knew something. um and yeah.
The us as a little child, like drawing stars and little hearts and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like this, right? Yeah, we are who we always have been, right? He was always there, right? But yeah, I feel very much what you said about Judgment Day, because it is Judgment Day, right? It is
Mm-hmm.
when we get to heaven and experience everything we went through, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we see how we affect others,
Mm-hmm.
right? And and yeah, it's easy and it's not easy. At least for me, it wasn't easy, right? Especially like uh, I'm now connecting things, especially with healing my inner child, right? Because I had this idea of like raising my daughter in a way that my parents didn't, right? I was gonna do everything that they didn't do. right?
Mhm.
Or in a different way, so she could be healed like I wasn't. But in the same way, she's like me, right? And I'm my mother. And this is like, I don't know, but I feel like sometimes I get slapped with the truth, of how much we loved each other, right?
Mhm.
And at some point we couldn't see it, but there's so much love here, right? And like, I don't want to say we always do the right thing, even when we are not doing the right thing, right? But it is kind of, right? It was just love. And if and this is like seeing through the perspective of how the higher places, the higher beings see us, right? We were always doing the right thing. And still there are things that tell us, right, that that's not possible, or I feel like there's so much love that our mind cannot handle it, at least mine. Like it cannot handle it, cannot be true,
It's
right?
incomprehensible. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And so yeah, but we can process it, right? We just have to move on and continue to be whatever we are being, right? But yeah, I'm still like in the between of like, can I fully be open? Everything, everything, can I show them who I
Mm.
really, 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 really like am? Because some parts I don't even know, you know. But sometimes they pop up and like I get boom with them, right? But only because we have love we can take it, right?
Mm.
Yeah. Sorry. But yeah.
No, that's perfect. Yeah. I love it. The more I've like, I don't know, kind of like exposed myself to myself, the freer I felt. Cause I'm like, I've been trying to like make sure to tell people, I'm like, I'm not just good. Like I definitely have some bad, I lie, like I cheat, I steal, like I have all these things. And the point isn't to be rid of them or like burn them all down to ashes. It's to love them. It's to integrate them and to be with them. And I think, like I said before about like this place, like this is heaven because we are heavenly. It's not about like leaving it behind and like kind of just running away. Cause I've thought about that a lot throughout my life. I'm like, when I was little, I was like, I just want to go and be on a little cottage somewhere just to myself and like be with the animals. Cause I love being outside. I love being in like the woods, in the forest and stuff. And it's like, I'm not supposed to. Like, I'm supposed to be out and be exposed because I'm here to help. I'm here to change and help myself through helping others. I always learn so much whenever I could be of service to someone. It's always of service to me somehow. Just learning more about myself. And I feel like in this same kind of sentiment, what we've been talking about with the divine feminine, like what I've been learning a lot recently is like to not settle and to really be open to receiving and really like declaring that I am worth it. I'm worthy of receiving, especially like equality, equal exchange. Like I feel like in the past, probably even earlier this year, like if my mother would have texted me like she did now to go get my nieces and my sister was in there with them and I would have left this call to go and help. But this is something that I want to do. And this is something that I know I need to do. I know there's somebody somewhere that needs to feel what this vibration, this energy that we have here, it needs to be reminded of who they are. Um, and so like I'm choosing myself in order to choose all. Cause it's like you can't be or give what you are not. And so like I feel like a good majority of my life, even though I'm very young, I always feel so old. Um, I always kind of like thought, okay, like self-sacrifice, like sacrificing myself and my peace so I can give to others is what's going to be the thing. But as I've seen the people that I've done that for, there were no changes in them. They didn't have anything. It didn't really help them. It was like a teaspoon scoop out of their whole shit tank. But like whenever I do come in my truth, I come as my full self and in love with myself and putting myself first, and I help people from this space. I can feel that it actually does shift them and shift their life. Um, yes.
Yeah, because at the same time, like whatever you choose, right? Whether you choose to like do this or do that, if you do it out of love, right? It's like you know that, for example, in your case, right? Your nieces will be okay. If you're not gonna pick them up, somebody else will,
Mm,
or something's gonna happen that is gonna delay something, right? You know that everything it's gonna be arranged if you are doing whatever your heart calls you to, right?
mhm,
And there is the safety here in order to know that you can stop and help, right? If it's not like draining you, right? But you can stop and help others, and everything else will be okay, right? That
mm,
everything else will be taken care of. That everything else will be right. And I've been learning very much to be okay with that. To know that for example, with my daughter, right? I don't have to go around her and tell her, look, this is dangerous, or this is not sticky, or this is right. I don't have to go around her because I know there's another person, or there's God is there to also be guiding her, right?
mhm,
And if we can create this environment, right, of love and of safety and of like being okay with whatever is happening, right? That there are forces in the matrix, I want to say, that are going to help us, right? And that we can fully be, in this case, in our divine feminine energy, right? And rest and be happy because the universe wants us to be happy, right? And that's the vibration where everything happens. It's when we are fully okay, right? We're doing whatever our heart calls us to, right? And and yeah, I've been also like you, right? I was like a people pleaser, right?
yeah,
Because you want to help, you want to serve, you want to be there, you want to do everything right. You want to give it all, right? But to love yourself is really the it's really the best thing in the world.
it's the ultimate sauce. I'm like, from this space, I can create like so much through not even trying to create. Everything just like aligns itself. Like it's exactly like you're saying. Um, yeah, exactly like you're saying. I like I can't really add too much to what you just said. Everything you said was perfect. I know we're gonna do closing remarks soon. So I'm just trying to feel if there's like anything. Okay. So they're talking about the star. One of your messages today, like I said before, was like let's go stars. And I know we've kind of touched on that before. Um what was this? Either 2022 or 2023. I had this like dream vision thing. I know it was real. And I was somewhere and it was three beings around me, one here, and one in front of me. They all had on like robes. I couldn't see their faces. And the one in front of me passed me like this tiny sun, like this ball of light. And they were like, and I was like, what do I do with this? And they were like, you know what to do. And I put it in my chest. And whenever these waves of love just pour in, my heart like just glows. I feel like it's so bright um inside of my chest. And like I guess to like extend on what you're saying, like that's how like me just being is also helping so much. And that's also why it's so important to be at peace like within myself and to be like okay with myself, because the more that star is glowing in my chest, the wider it's like radiance, the more it's spreading out. um Everywhere I go, I'm always setting an intention to spread it out, to wake people up, to have them remember, and within that to make my own self like remember, because I know I still don't remember everything. But yes, that's what I just felt called to share. um the stars, the gold, the goldenness of it all. This bird isn't a phoenix, and neither is the one that I have for the imagery of this conversation. But I feel like the same is true. That same like idea of like this transformation. There's a big difference between a bird on a branch and a bird in the sky. Like even that in itself is a form of transformation. This willingness to be revealed, to come out from the quote unquote protection. Because like as I said before, I believe it's always been this way. I remember like someone was saying like it wasn't right to like get messages about certain people in the way that I do, because I do tarot and stuff like that. And I remember thinking like everything is open. If I see somebody like walking down the street, like I can feel them, I can feel whatever they've got going on. It's right there. It's never these things like we think
Yeah,
they are.
no
It's all
problem.
an illusion. It's always just been just like this false kind of narrative. And I feel like the ultimate protection is like knowing the self. I don't know, that's what I'm hearing. I'm gonna leave
No,
it like
it's
that.
absolutely no vulnerability. No, absolute vulnerability. That's the thing, right? Um, yeah, about with sharing. I learned with the higher beings to like everybody has free will, right?
Hmm.
Like we can help, but but better yet, we can only be ourselves, right? And if they ask us, we're gonna help, right? But it's not like we are gonna meddle in people's lives and trying to tell them what they're supposed to know, right? Because we don't know what they're supposed to know, right?
Mm.
Even if we can see it clearly, right? Because
Yeah.
we usually see other people way better than we see ourselves, right?
Yes,
It's
for
very
sure.
easy. Yes. And with the stars, I really feel like being a star, like a true star, right? It's not something that it's really chosen, right? It's something that
Mm,
God like throws you into the middle of doing. So yeah, it's something that when you really know who you are, right? It's it's our ultimate goal and it's our most easy thing to do, right?
mm,
And yeah, I feel like many stars are coming, right?
mm,
They're still dancing in the trees,
mm.
but very soon they will fly.
Beautiful. Yes, it is all everything. Like I said, you just say it all. Because there's so much like layered into like I said, I can feel the truth behind what you're saying. So it's like it's encoded in like these little strands of light. But I think we can leave it here. What do you think?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know you have to go
If,
soon.
if there's anything you want to cut or something, you are you can, okay. Or
Mm,
yeah, you
you were touching
can.
on so many things. Yeah, I guess. So one of the things that I felt was like I said, the Golden Children. That was a card that I got the other day, and you think about like in modern terms, like what the golden child is kind of like this like chosen kid or whatever, or this one that's like honored above the rest.
Mhm.
And one of the like messages I got was you are the chosen one, but like because you chose. It's like you said, a lot of like you get like thrown into it, but I feel like it's still, even from there, it's still a choice. Like you still can keep denying it if you really wanted to, like the free will. I know what you mean.
It's,
I feel like
it's
ultimately it's you though who chooses, uh who chooses it.
yeah, it's like who's God, right? Ultimately, who's God, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Hmm. Okay. um I'm hearing more will be revealed later. That's one of the messages I got the other day. It was like, there are some things that you don't see now, but you will, and it will feel heavenly, the release of this burden that you are carrying. And then the other message was, it will unfold. It will unfold. And you think about like the bird's wings kind of like unfolding to take flight. Oh, but thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being here. There's going to be information on where you can find this lovely person in the description, the YouTube channel and the email, and my information as well if you'd like to contact either of us. But I hope that you got something miraculous, something of love from this conversation. Oh, I can like feel something. I'll figure it out what it is soon enough. But yeah, anything you'd like to say? Closing remarks.
Yeah, I want to thank you
Aw.
for for being for
Mm.
inviting me to come and talk, right? And I want to say that I love you and I love everybody.
Thank you. I
And
love you too.
yes, and yeah, I guess that's it. I
That's
guess
it.
that's it.
Yeah, we love y'all. Oh,
No
I'm
words,
seeing.
just
I'm hearing,
feelings.
feeling something. Somebody needed to hear that. Okay. All right. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
You, bye.
Bye.